Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods here on Happy New Year. Come 4 o'clock today, everybody in the NFL has to be under the salary cap. And now legal tampering, this is still crazy to me. Legal tampering is over with, and we can actually start doing some real business. So all those trades and moves that were made and so forth, the contracts that were done can now become official starting today at 4 o'clock. And you can see that there's all kinds of teams that have been making moves. Lord knows, last night, Trent Williams, what a story. It seems like when guys get away from the Washington football team, they seem to have a better career or at least a better life. Because Trent Williams, who literally sat out a year in a contract dispute, well, not really contract dispute, actually physical care. It turns out he had a growth on his head that was cancerous or something like that, that the team really didn't investigate or give him the whole story on, and he was just like, I'm done with you. And he was traded to San Francisco, and wow, he just signed a 6-year, $138 million contract, $23.1 million a year. Boy, he has gotten paid. I mean, he is paid. So shout out to Trent Williams on the biggest offensive line contract in the history of football. Now, here's one thing I do want to put out there. When Tyron Smith signed his deal, which was a $97 million deal, people looked and said, you can't pay an offensive lineman that kind of money. That's crazy, man. But you look at Tyron Smith's contract over the years and things. At this point, his contract is actually very team-friendly in comparison. That is if he's healthy. And that's one of the advantages of having, if you know a guy is going to have a long career, to be able to pay more to get him on a longer-term deal. It will help you down the road. Now, do I think Trent Williams is going to play 6 years? I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it for 6 more years. But, you know, he did play incredible last year for San Francisco. So be it Jimmy Garoppolo or whoever it is, he will be playing lights out for them. And congratulations to Trent Williams. Other news, apparently the Bears were trying really, really hard to get Russell Wilson. You know, the thing we've learned about Seattle from our own dealings with them is you think you have a deal with Seattle, and then all of a sudden they change it up on you. We thought we had a deal with Earl Thomas for a second-round pick. No, we want a first after all. So the price always changes, and they were probably playing those games with the Bears, and the Bears finally said, you know what, we're good with Andy Dalton. We're okay. It's not the guy we wanted, but we're just tired of playing games. We just want to have a quarterback in here. We need change for change's sake. And unfortunately for poor Bear fans, man, they got all excited about the prospect of Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, and then all of a sudden they get Andy Dalton, a guy they know rather well because he played not far from there. But be that as it may, you got Andy Dalton. At least it's a move. The reality is, as much as people want to think that you got a chance to get one of the best quarterbacks in football and all that, they're not going to take a hit like that and start all over. It's just not going to happen. That's why you see the shuffle of quarterbacks of Andy Dalton to the Bears. You see Jacoby Brissett to Miami. You see Ryan Fitzpatrick. The top-tier quarterbacks aren't moving. Teams are not stupid, realizing how difficult it is to get a top quarterback. I'm glad we got mine signed in Dak Prescott. And in other news, in Deshaun Watson, there is a sexual allegation lawsuit that's being filed against him. Deshaun Watson went on record saying that it's not about money, that it's going to clear his name. It was apparently a massage parlor, and supposedly it went a little too far. They wanted like $100,000 to keep it quiet. Deshaun Watson said, no thanks. I'll roll the dice. So we'll see what happens with that situation there. And this is where You have to understand, and I was not there. I do not know, and I do not pretend to know what happened in this situation. All I know is if you're a potential rookie that's going into the NFL, you have to understand that you, especially if you're a Cowboy player, have a target on your back that says you got a lot of fame, you got a lot of money, and you are an opportunity for me. If I can be your girl and have your baby, I'm going to get paid. I'm not saying all women are like that, but you got to understand there's ones that are out there. You got to understand there's the Charles Barkley syndrome too, where people realize if I can piss off Charles Barkley and he takes a swing at me, I can sue him and get some money too. Or if they can get you in a compromising position, be it at the club getting tipsy or at Vegas pushing a guy through the fence, they're going to get their 5 minutes of fame on social media. So you got to be more careful about everything you do. Because this is the age of I got you, and it's going to get it for me. So be careful. Now, here it is, 2 days into legal tampering and everything. And, of course, the Cowboys, we have done what we do in recent memory, which is sign our own players. They don't get into the deep end anymore. I don't know what happened to the Dallas Cowboys that when they fell short, they decided, let's go get a Charles Haley. Let's shift the power structure from the San Francisco 49ers to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go get a Deion Sanders and shift some more of that power from San Francisco to Dallas. A team that used to take risk with free agency and with players. They now seem to be scared to do anything. Now, Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy was a guy I really wanted to see on the field. Gerald McCoy had actually slimmed down, lost some weight and things. Looked like he was going to be a guided missile. And maybe all of that slimming down and everything else tightened up the muscles to the point where he just tore. He got injured before he ever got a chance to get out of training camp. The Cowboys basically had an injury settlement, let him go. No hard feelings. He understood. I got paid $1 million and didn't bust a grape. Gerald McCoy has said he would like to come back to the Cowboys, but he's also said he wouldn't mind going back to Tampa Bay. I think at this point he wants to play. He is still in Dallas, and let's go to the clip here from TMZ where he says what he says.
I've been cleared by my doctor. I'm fully cleared, full go for football activity. So I'm just waiting on my phone to ring. I know a lot of teams were worried about whether I would recover well or whether I'm going to be healthy by training camp. Yes, I will be. I'm healthy now. I'm just not at 100%. But by training camp, I'll be 100%. And I'm not chasing any teams, man. If a team wants me on their team, they want a guy who's going to give them everything they got, who's going to lead the right way, show up to work the right way, and play the game the right way, then they assign me. And that team, I promise you, they won't regret it.
You're still in Dallas, and
yes,
you never played a game for them, but you stayed close with members of that organization and members of the defense. Cowboys, a possibility though, right?
Yeah, Cowboys definitely a possibility. But I'm open to anybody. Whoever wants a veteran defensive lineman. I believe all teams can use a veteran defensive lineman because when you got guys who are stout in the middle on defense, it helps the whole team. So whoever wants my services, I'm ready to rock.
You spent a bulk of your career in Tampa, and of course you see them win a Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that could be a reunion too with a veteran defensive lineman that you can help them. And it seems like everybody wants to go there right now.
Yeah, man. Tampa would be a great place to especially finish up, man. I know regardless whether I go back and actually play there, I'm going to go back at least for a day so I can retire as a Buck. But it would be great to finish my career there. But like I said, I'm open to anybody. Whoever wants my services, I'm ready to go.
One guy you won't be chasing anymore is Drew Brees that you played a lot against.
Yeah.
What was it like lining up against Drew over the years?
Yeah, Drew was incredible, man. And I told Drew, if I'm blessed enough one day to make it to Canton, his name will be mentioned in my speech. Drew he's inspired more people than he knows. And even with what happened last year, he made that statement and The thing I'll say about Drew is he personally reached out to me. He didn't just make that public statement with what he did. Drew personally texted my phone because he understands the relationship me and him had. And he apologized personally. And I can respect that. That's just the type of man Drew is. And that goes to show the type of competitor he was and just what everything he put into this game, man. But Drew, more than just being a huge competitor and beating all the odds of being a short quarterback, of being a person who didn't have to have this super rocket arm or whatever it is, the prototypical quarterback, man. He beat all the odds, and he's a wonderful man, person, and player, and I'm happy for him. Drew, you enjoy retirement. And
Amen. 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 I'm just curious, though. Is it in a storeroom, a shipping room? Where is this he's doing the interview from? Because I'm just curious. I'm just curious where he's doing the interview from. Gerald McCoy, I wouldn't mind them re-signing him to the team because he's a guy that could end up helping the younger guys, you know, between Gallimore and Tristan Hill and teaching them how to be players. And I think if as long as the injury has healed, he was a guy who still had a lot left in the tank and was definitely motivated about actually being a Dallas Cowboy. The thing that's with a lot of players, one of the things that's always bothered me for years, and if you've watched any length of time, you've heard me say this. You'll notice when most players talk, they'll say this team, as opposed to my team. It's kind of like a doctor with the bedside manner. You know where doctors always seem like they're cold and disinterested because they don't want to get that personal relationship because it clouds your judgment on what you may decide because you're emotionally tied to them. And typically, most players, it's not like it used to be. Players used to be emotionally tied to the team. Back in the 70s and 80s, there wasn't free agency where, you know, you could be playing the Cowboys one season and playing with the Eagles the next, and we worked out in the off season together. You were a Dallas Cowboy player. You were a Washington football player. And you did not like each other because you were emotionally tied to the team. Those are your brothers in arms. It's not that way. As Demario Davis said to me, I'm an independent contractor that gets a 1099. I'm playing for me. But Gerald McCoy, it felt different. And I also say Randy Gregory also felt different. Randy Gregory immediately put a tattoo on his arm. And it was like, this is my place. This is my home. This is my team. And that's a rare commodity now in football because when you play for your brothers and things, and Gerald McCoy was like, man, you know, my family has always been Cowboy fans and stuff and all that. To have the opportunity of playing on Thanksgiving, you know, to be seen in primetime games and stuff like that. He was literally excited about being a Dallas Cowboy player. And that, I think, could actually be a good thing for the team. You get somebody who's like that, who could be a veteran presence and leader on the field, something that the Cowboys have definitely missed. I wouldn't be opposed to that. So with that being said, we'll see if the Dallas Cowboys make any moves. We know that they pretty much sit out the first week in football, in free agency, because that's what Stephen Jones does. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe the leopard will change the spots. But in the meantime, I've actually got to go do a job out in the country here, so I'm going to be in a dead zone for several hours, so I may end up missing some news. But I will be back this evening, and what we will do is we will do from our studio, provided it's not raining, and it might be raining, our new studio from the outside, we'll do a recap, and we're going to start actually around 6 o'clock every day doing our Dallas Cowboys daily update from our sports desk to kind of give you a recap of everything that's happened and transpired and what's going on as we get ready for the 2021 season. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you have a happy NFL New Year. I'll see you